can we relegate talk about the main roster to the pre-show every fucking time? Because, guys, I just want to let y'all know it's the exact same episode. They literally just copy-pasted last week's RAW and just said, let's do it again. Run it again, boys.
It's like, hey, guys, you know what? We really like what we did last week. Let's do it again.
No one else did, but
we did.
But I liked it. Welcome to Fight Boys, a show about professional and not so professional wrestling, and I got 2 words for you. Scotty Moore.
I'm Blake Tanner.
Blake is coming to this podcast a broken man.
God, I wish you could see me right now. You two can.
I'm the third man, the Dylan.
Oh yeah. And we are going over the best stables in professional wrestling, and shockingly very little overlap. Only 2 of these stables did all 3 of us pick. And then the rest was, I think, me and Blake. Because Dylan, you came into this saying straight up, if I haven't seen them, I'm not putting them on here. Which, for me, I was like, I've seen, the ones I picked, I'm like, I've seen DVDs. I've seen them on DVDs.
You know what? Some of these I've watched a lot of ding-dang documentaries about.
Yeah.
I thought about, I'm sad now. I remembered one I could have put on there.
Do you want to bring them up now, and then we could establish if they need to... Oh, shit. Blake, do you want to take that? Because me and Dylan both have honorable mentions. Would you like to bring that to the table? If not, I'll fucking bring it. And
actually,
you can have mine.
I'll take yours because I think you could do them more justice than I could.
Okay, but before that, Dylan, would you... I felt bad for Dylan because he's the only person who had, a majority of his list ripped apart as we created our final listing.
That's because, well...
I knew that going in.
See, Scotty, you do love a lot of Western wrestling. Dylan, you of course have a very well-rounded view of wrestling, and you know that the best wrestling in the world is in Japan. And I'm a basic little bitch.
I like how you're like, Dylan, of course, knows the ways of the East. Those famous staples, like the main event Mafia.
Also,
that one was good just in concept.
Oh, yeah.
It ran out of steam eventually, but the concept of it was wonderful.
But would you like to bring your honorable mention from your list?
Yeah, of course, because despite the fact that they're not number 1, Suzuki Gon Ichiban. Now, some people might talk about, Los Ingobernables de Japón, which, is a faction, the very well-known faction, but they're not really, that ride or die. There's Chaos, which is by far the worst faction ever exists. They'll see one of their people get beat up for 10 minutes and not come out and save them. But on the exact opposite end of that is the top-notch ship run by Minoru Suzuki, who has commanded one of the most impressive collections of talent over the years that I think you really can. Which currently includes Zack Sabre Jr., current IWGP Junior and former tag team champion El Desperado, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, who was the ace of Noah's junior division and a former 3-time tag champion in New Japan. Former members include. I'm sorry, hold on. There was one more I was missing. Oh my gosh. Taichi.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Taichi, the God Emperor himself, fucking meme lord of New Japan. Former members include motherfucking oh my god, Taka Michinoku.
Oh shit, I didn't even know Michinoku was in it.
Yeah. Fucking Shelton Benjamin. Davy Boy Smith Jr. Lance Archer,
Yeah.
and Takayama. You know, Takayama. I had a professional MMA career. I'm the only one of like 4 people to ever hold the championship of all 3 major like companies in Japan. Yeah, that guy that just stiffed everybody. Yeah, he was like, no, I'll join up with Suzuki's crew, and Suzuki's running it. The scariest man in pro fucking wrestling. Do you want to tell Minoru Suzuki his stable isn't the best? Good luck. Good luck. I'm not doing it. You can. I'm not.
I want you to know what my like reaction was as I heard you listing off names. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, I know that. It's like, wait, really? Really?
That's
What?
how I felt when Dylan recently on our chat posted like the history of the IWGP Championship, and obviously it was a bunch of Japanese names I didn't recognize, and then I believe it was Scott Norton popped up, and I went, really? Norton?
Scott Norton is over as fuck in New Japan.
Yeah.
So it's headlined like just championships out the wazoo. At one point, they completely and successfully invaded Pro Wrestling Noah.
Hell yeah.
Now, granted, it was being booked by Jado, which was a horrible mistake, but they did it. It was impressive. Like, and they're ride or die. Like Suzuki-gun will interfere in your match in your favor. In fact, it's how they get all of their heat.
Here's
the
thing. With Chaos, if you don't interfere, I doubt there's much repercussion. With Suzuki-gun, you would have to answer to Suzuki if you didn't help someone win. And I don't want to have that conversation.
Well, that was part of what, like I talked about last month whenever El Desperado wrestled against Ibushi for the double championship. Suzuki-gun was there, but all they did was surround the ring.
Yeah.
And like cheer their guy. They didn't try to interfere at all. They wanted it to be straight up, our guy can beat you. And he damn near did. And that was the thing, is like I've never seen a group where like for the past fucking however many years, so ever since, because they were originally Kojima-gun, and then Taichi and Takamichi Noku betrayed him, and Suzuki came out, and they formed Suzuki-gun. They are the longest standing group with no change in leadership,
Yeah.
no betrayal, no breakoffs. Like, they're just there. They went away to New Japan, or they went away to Noah for a while. I mean, granted, they're also the only faction to have never held the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. But, like, they've held everything else Suzuki has. Like, and honestly, you could tell me tomorrow, hey, listen, Suzuki's going to get, like, an upset win, hold the IWGP Heavyweight Championship for, like, 2 months. And I'd be like, I'd believe it.
Yeah.
You could tell me right now that Minoru Suzuki snapped Will Ospreay's arm, and I'd be like, just backstage one day? Absolutely.
I'm surprised.
So that's why I think Suzuki-gun. Yeah, Suzuki-gun is what I consider like the most cohesive. They're maybe like not top tier, the most successful, but like anytime you see a group, you're like, that's a group. Like all of their pictures, they like dress the same. There's this thing from Burn Notice where it's like a uniform instills fear into others, and like you just get that vibe off of Suzuki-gun. You're like, oh, that's a unit. Oh, we should run. We should go now.
Yeah.
We should.
I think we should go. Guys, before that man's gonna break my arm. Scary man.
Well, on to my honorable mention that I did just steal from Dylan, so Blake can have mine. But of course, mine it has to be Undisputed. Because holy shit, I'm shocked I couldn't think about the Undisputed Era while coming up with this, because yeah.
Nice pun.
Shocked the system. I think it may be because during, of course, Adam Cole's historic NXT title reign, which is not to be dismissed, the rest of the era did just kind of become like Adam's friends. It felt less like a stable, which may be why it didn't make my list. But holy shit, yeah, you're taking the best technical guys from Ring of Honor and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. One of my favorite. They were the people who made me enjoy and fall in love with technical wrestling is Red Dragon. Now take them, put them with Adam fucking Cole, a man you can build any company around, and also Roderick Strong is there. And what a fucking
Roderick Strong, who is the greatest wrestler with no personality.
yeah.
Like, if you could pump everything, like he's like if you took a D&D character and just dumped charisma, but everything else is just, he's technical, he can strong style, he can tell a story, he just can't actually tell you a story.
But yeah, fucking, I love the Undisputed Era. I mean, we were there, the prophecy was foretold, weren't we? I mean, that was the night that they won the tag titles, was the night that me and Dylan went. And like, yeah, if you just look at the ring and say, oh, Undisputed Era is having a match, you're instantly, oh, they're winning. They're gone. Like, obviously not now, but like back in the day, it was, oh, Undisputed Era is fighting. They're gonna kill them. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but between that and then all the matches they had, of course, you got the Cole Gargano series. You've got Red Dragon versus just all the fucking people they took on.
You have
War
games.
War
Did
games.
somebody say war games?
War games
Hold
would
on,
not.
I just gotta. I'm here for the war games. You got any more of them war games?
I am a.
yes, because there was a sequel.
Yeah.
They were also in that, and I believe the third one. They were in everyone until last year.
Oh no, last year they had them versus Pat McAfee's crew.
Yeah,
They've been, I believe, in every war games that they can. And Bud, like, all of those, I mean, the McAfee one I hit or miss on, but like the year before, Owen's coming back to fight them. Like,
So what
War
you're saying
games-
is
War
War
games would-
Games is undisputed.
I'm saying war games would not fucking exist without the Undisputed Era. Like, there's no way they would have kept that going. But Blakey T, you gotta bring them. You gotta bring the boys.
Hold on, did the air just change in there? Did somebody did it just get a little bit heavier for a second? Did somebody
Oh,
you
God,
can you
Blake.
feel it? Oh, I can I feel the power. It's a new day. Yes it is. Now, I love the New Day. And I love the New Day story specifically because you just take the fact that these three guys were absolutely floundering and put them in a stable, and it's going to make them just a ton better. They're going to be so great right out the gate. Oh, wait a minute. No, wait,
But
no.
I think
But-
that adds to it. I think
yeah,
that
it
really
does.
adds to it.
It adds to their legacy so much because the New Day started out as a big old stinker of a gimmick because they didn't know where they were going. They had this weird preacher thing. They were going positivity, but they were going to be heels and stuff. But they found
Oh no, they wanted to be
Yeah,
heels.
they were baby faces first, and then they turned it into the heels that think they're a babyface, which is some of my favorite babyface stuff to do. But the moment that like they turned it around and they turned chicken shit into chicken salad to the point that they are one of the like longest rate like modern tag team stables in the company's history. And to the fact that, like, it goes to show just their, 11-time tag team championships. They have the current company longest tag team championship reign in the modern era. And, I mean, they are full of accolades, and they turned it into content creation.
And the only way you can't break them up, like that was a thing with most stables, is who's gonna turn, what's gonna break them up, what's gonna destroy them. And yeah, with them, like the only way was to separate them to separate rosters. And even then, when Big E comes out, it's, oh no, that's member of the New Day, Big E. Exactly. Like, and beyond that, like that's my favorite thing about it, is just the brotherhood exhibited. There's no egos. Like, if Xavier was in Kofi Mania spot, if Big E was in that spot, they wouldn't have cared. They would have just said, fuck yeah. And that's what I love about it, because it's
As a matter of
real.
fact, I think if either of them were in that spot, they would have said, "No, wait, this should be Kofi though."
Oh, they gas up Kofi like a motherfucker. They gas up Kofi constantly.
I do.
The only thing they don't do is gas up Woods' desire to be king of the ring. They keep just looking at him like, yeah, sure, buddy. Sure thing.
I love the brotherhood and camaraderie that those three have built together, from being, basically thrown together into just becoming three guys that are the best of friends at this point.
No, it wasn't thrown together. Like, Woods came up with the idea, went to E, and they were both like, we need a third guy. Should we ask Kofi? Kofi's been around a real long time. I don't think we should ask Kofi. We should ask Kofi. And then they walked up to Kofi, and he was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it.
And then the Big Show was like, "This will never work." And then he apologized. Then he was one of the few people that apologized to them later.
I have to say that their stable, with its unlikely beginnings, turning the fact that these three guys are so talented that they turned it around into one of the most successful pro wrestling stables that I've ever gotten the privilege to see live,
and also most creative, because
absolutely.
They've come out with numerous pieces of media that have become iconic, like t-shirts and shit.
And socks. New Day, your child's feet are cold. They're asking for New Day socks.
And I'm sorry, they got a cereal. They got a cereal.
A fucking cereal
that's named Booty-O's. It's got booty in the name.
When you look at stables, like in pro wrestling in general, you want to build an iconic shirt? White text on a black shirt. Not the New Day. I want us riding a blind-ass unicorn on the most vibrant blue shirt possible.
They came out of a giant cereal box dressed like they were in Dragon Ball Z, people.
They don't give a fuck, and I love them. But for now, I feel like it's time to get into our top 5. And coming in at number 5, you may know who they are, but what you may not know is why they are here.
Or why they're number 5.
Or why they're number 5. It is the NWO, a stable that I didn't put on just because of how much stank is in the later years of the NWO.
Which I think is I understand the sentiment, but it was the NWO was such a game changer for WCW that it basically led to their biggest success run, and also the reason that they folded.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is interesting. So they were influential.
Yeah, they didn't know how to maintain it. It also pushed WWE to be like, I guess we have to not do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, I need you to go out and cut a fucking killer promo, I guess, or something. Fuck it.
I guess you can't be the ring general anymore.
Yeah. I mean, the beginnings were so great, with Hall and Nash coming out being the outsiders, literally people being like, what the fuck are they doing? Because, it wasn't like it is now. It wasn't, the news wasn't there. It was just, why the fuck are they on this show now? Why is this happening? And then, of course, who's their third man? Who's gonna join them in this great 6-man tag? And then, of course, Hogan comes out at the end of the match, and we all have our feelings about that racist man. But comes out at the end of the match, shocks the entire fucking world when the ultimate babyface, Hulk Hogan, drops the leg. They caused so much heat. People were just yeeting shit in the ring. They were furious with them.
And to be fair, the NWO is probably the coolest that pro wrestling has ever been.
Yeah.
That shirt showed up in media everywhere. Dennis Rodman showed up on WCW as part of the NWO. And people were like, holy shit, and they thought it was cool. And you need to understand, that was when the Bulls were the Bulls.
Yep.
So that was, and they could get away with, that era of WCW is the coolest it can be. But the reason why we have it down there is that when you add in, Hollywood versus Wolfpack, NWO 2000, Latino World Order, when they were in WWE. Not the first bit where there was the three of them, but where they kept adding other people and Shawn Michaels was there for no reason. And like, yeah, you know, it got dragged through the mud. It got dragged through the mud.
Overbloated, you know, it lost its own creative control because everybody was trying to do their own creative thing and they all wanted to be the best, but they all wanted their own NWO spinoff, and then there were like too many NWOs. And
well, not only that, like, I mean, it goes back to the whole New Day thing. Well, like I said, with New Day, there was no rivalries, there was no jealousy. But you could tell between Hall, Nash, and Hogan, they were all kind of trying to outbid each other for that top spot, and alongside everyone else who came in. But I feel like that also is good because all of these stables that we have in this top 5 really changed the game and showed future stables what they needed to be. In this case, the NWO said, here's what you don't fucking do. This is a masterclass in how not to build a stable.
Exactly. And you know what? I will say, I know that we kind of skipped around the Hogan thing, and I just want everybody to know that, like, back in the day, he was still a terrible person. So don't worry.
He just looked cooler because part of his beard was black, but he had the yellow mustache, and that was a whole aesthetic for a while.
Yep, and spray painted the title, which of course is iconic, although our next people may have done that a little bit better, but we're not going to get into them yet. But yeah, NWO, they deserve to be on this list strictly because they are the stable. Like, even the people who are going to follow NWO in this list at number 4, they never made it as big. They never were as big as the NWO, although they were kind of both birthed from the same egg, you could say.
And I will say there has been some revisionism that makes it seem that way.
But it wasn't that way.
Even though they are a stable that I do clearly remember from my young memories because they were the people that my mom turned the TV off on when they came on, and that made me want to watch them even more. So it may be why, like, because it was during my formative years that I put them higher.
Yep.
You know?
But, yeah, NWO. For life. And then there's a better version of them that's much higher on this list. Should we just get into number 4? Blake, I'm sorry, you brought NWO to the table, and I was like, well, we got to talk about NWO. I don't know what I'm going to talk about with NWO.
I mean, you got a lot of historical stuff that you need to bring up with NWO, like especially when it comes to the wrestling that we grew up watching. So I think they've got to be mentioned, which also is why number 4 is here. A good old D-Generation X.
Well, before we get into that, I do
Thank you, Jim Johnson. That fucking rocked.
I do have an important question. Are you ready? No, I said, are you ready? Fuck yes.
The millions of people watching at home. Oh, let's get ready now. By the way, I was always confused by that because he was telling everybody to get ready to suck it, and I was just like, why are we getting ready to suck anything?
Shouldn't the opponents be getting ready to suck it for us? Or
yeah, that was
maybe.
Well, I love that because that is from the older DX, and it was literally Triple H saying, fuck, we don't have Road Dogg anymore, but we still need some way to start this off. All right, I guess I'll come up with my own Road Dogg thing. But you just can't beat. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, D-Generation X proudly presents to you its 5-time tag team champions of the world.
Yep. And you
for one Billigan Road Dogg.
And I will say, the thing about DX is, going back to what we talked about the New Day, is of their time, they were very creative as a stable because they had a new wacky thing that they were doing every week, which I always appreciated because they were trying to throw shit at the wall to see something that stuck. A lot of it doesn't hold up anymore.
Yeah, you remember that bit where they spoofed the Nation of Domination and they basically were all wearing blackface?
Yeah, like that. That doesn't work anymore. That never worked, actually.
Or the part where they're at a hot dog stand and it's implied that Triple H is getting a blowjob and he just squirts mustard everywhere at the point of completion.
To be fair, Candice Michelle was next to him and also...
Oh, yeah.
Because, WWE, hot lesbian action.
HLA.
But, no, I do like that D-Generation X evolved, because it started off as Hunter and Sean just being like, we're just gonna fuck around, and they're like, hey, you know what would really fuck with people? What if we got a bodyguard, but it was a chick? We're like, fuck yeah, this is good. We're going good with that. And then Sean got injured, Sean left, and Triple H was just like, fuck, I guess I'm just gonna get a bunch of goons. And then that's what he did. He formed the titular goon insulation stable. Like,
oh yeah,
like that was not like because when you look back, that wasn't as much a thing before that. There wasn't as much a thing of like, I'm the leader, the rest of you exist solely to make me look better. If you get your own championships, who cares?
Right.
I'm still going to be the star of the stable, no matter what you do.
Yeah. Until The Rock shows up. And then The Rock is the star of that segment.
Which is true about every Rock segment.
But yeah, that was a good, like, it was a good stable in that regard. It played a good foil for Austin, just like the NWO was a great foil for DDP back in WCW.
Oh, I was gonna say Sting. Like, even that, like...
Oh, yeah, Sting. That made Sting's career facing them. But yeah, and then for that, it was The Rock and Austin could always just be like, it's Triple H. Let me stun all of his goons. Let me just destroy all of them. Like, pop the crowd. Maybe get run back over. But yeah, it was a good little thing, especially when you had the Helmsley McMahon, like, faction angle of it.
And that's what I love about it more than anything, because they were designed as a stable to say, fuck management. It's kind of the same thing that happened with the NWO, because NWO is very much fuck management. Then management joined them in the form of Bischoff or Stephanie McMahon with DX. And my favorite thing about that is it showed it made the heel character of Triple H even better, because then people started, like, DX got over and people started to cheer for DX. They would fucking flash them in the crowd. Like, it was insane. And so Triple H, the perennial heel, was like, how the fuck do I keep getting booed? Oh, obviously, align myself with the people. It's literally a better...
Obviously, I'm going to drug marry somebody. which is like legal sexual assault.
And you know what? I'm gonna end up in management one day. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
They went from fuck management to fucking management.
It's like a better version of the Austin heel turn, because it was, how could he do this? He's aligned himself with Vince. Doing it that blatantly is bullshit. However, if you do a slow burn like they did with DX, it works really, really, really fucking well.
And then they came back as the Reunion DX tour, which was just two goofy people who talked a lot about cock.
During which Shawn Michaels was a born-again Christian and would no longer do the suck it movement because Jesus don't like
it.
I believe that's why they had to turn it into an X for the crotch chop, is he's like, I guess I'll do this because it's like an X over my dick.
Yes, so I'm actually cutting you off from my dick. I'm telling you not to suck it with this motion. I'm telling you, you can't. This is my chastity belt.
My favorite fucking clip of all time is still when Sean's walking down to the ring and he's doing the most casual suck it of all time. He's just looking at the audience going, suck it? No, not you. Okay, suck it, suck it, suck it.
I don't know. The one where he eggs the guy on by giving a fake blowjob, I believe, is my favorite part of that stable.
Yeah.
You. Fondles the balls. Yes.
I can see the fucking face that he made burned into my brain.
Oh yeah. It's up there. It's up there. But yeah, that's...
And then, of course, like I said, you got Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, who were amazing on their own. Billy Gunn, that man has been through so fucking much. He's been through the ass man gimmick, which arguably, unfortunately, I hate to say it, the ass man theme does slap. It is a very good song, but the gimmick is terrible.
I love, speaking of themes, Degeneration X's fucking theme song. I know you mentioned it, Dylan. It's fucking slaps, man. It's like, okay, listen, we want a Rage Against the Machine song. I'm not paying for that. Alrighty, we need a Rage Against the Machine song, Jim.
Yep, that is the thing with all of these stables. There's just like iconic music, iconic iconography, all of it. Like it was a total package with these guys, and like with DX.
You started talking about that one, and now I have the NWO one stuck in my head. Bass is the key to a good faction song.
Yeah,
good bass. And unfortunately, our next on the list, I mean, they've had decent theme songs throughout the years, but nothing like particular. I guess their WCW one was pretty good, but the problem is these men came before theme music was really a big deal. Like, I think the Freebirds were really who brought that into being a big deal, so these guys never really got it, but woo! These men didn't need music! They have got the symbol of excellence. They've got crocodile shoes, and big man, I'm having a hard time holding these boys down. You gotta put the Horsemen on there. They are the originators of the concept of a stable. You never saw something where just like four of the most hated guys in the company came together. They were like, it's the Sinister Six is what it is.
and not only that, they weren't like, oh, we were these like dastardly over the top heels. They were like, you see our clothes? You see how much money we make? You see this Rolex? I can fuck your wife.
I'm gonna fuck your
wife.
I already fucked your wife, Steve. Don't worry.
And the thing is that all of them exuded that. Arn Anderson exuded that. And Arn Anderson has looked like a middle-aged man his entire life.
Arn Anderson has looked like a spherical beaver his entire life, but he's still fucked. But that's also the really good thing about it, is the fact that they weren't all the same. Tully was different from the Brain Busters, who were different from Rick. Like, they all had a different personality, but they all still meshed. And when I look at, like, the great stables of history, and you go down it, a lot of them are just the Horsemen again. Evolution is just the Horsemen again.
Well, okay, now that was pretty obvious. It's still got Ric Flair in it.
And like at every, like, don't get me wrong, in certain ones you'd have like, you know, an off member or two, like the version that had Mongo. But like,
I always forget.
Even then,
Mongo.
you'd have like Brian Pillman or fricking Mr. Perfect, or like, yeah, you'd have even with the exception of Mongo, even after that, the worst member of the Horsemen is still like a Hall of Fame worthy wrestler.
Oh yeah, easily.
Like that's just no other stable can really like say that each member on their own was so influential that they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Like X-Pac on his own does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. To
be fair, Great Khali doesn't either. And he's already been thrown in there.
It's a good point that you made, like, the fact that they were very different characters that joined together for a common cause. It's like in a comic book, like when the Legion of Doom gets together and they're just chilling. It's like, all right, guys, how do we kill Superman? I'm Lex Luthor. I'm very smart.
I'm Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy. And just the staying power of it, to a point where, like, even now, as of recently, we on this show have been like, are they going to do the Horsemen again? Are the Horsemen coming back? And now they are. And what I love is each time, no pun intended, it evolves. Evolution, the concept wasn't, we're the four horsemen, although they did dress in suits, fly in jets, and do the whole horseman thing, but the concept was literally evolution. Ric Flair was the past, Hunter was the present, Batista and Randy Orton, as they've went on to prove, were the future. It was a good variant on it. My personal favorite variant is the Pinnacle, though, who just said, you know what makes us different from the Four Horsemen? There's 5 of us. Fuck you.
You don't want to talk about Fortune?
Oh, Fortune was a thing. Who was in Fortune? Rude was. Easily,
let's see
right?
here. Oh god damn it. Desmond Wolfe, who was actually Nigel McGuinness.
Yep.
Kazarian, AJ Styles, who they tried to make the next Nature Boy. That was annoying. James Storm. Like, they too had a
Everyone was
rotating roster of people. But
because
yeah.
Beer Money was in it, wasn't it? Both members of Beer Money.
yeah, at different points. Oh yeah, Bobby Roode was in it.
The
Still
only
a great
reason
song.
why I know Nigel McGuinness was in Fortune is because of that fucking Jay Lethal Flair skit. Because in the middle of it, fucking McGuinness cuts a promo, and I'm like, bud, you don't need to be part of this.
No.
Magic's happening.
Anybody who watches could be like, you can clearly tell that Nigel McGuinness knows this is going too far off the rails and is trying to like remind them to try and actually advance something.
I believe the quote of a promo that has numerous quotes that stand out. The one that stands out the most is Nigel McGuinness saying, "Why don't you bring your ghetto booty down to the ring? 'Cause I'm gonna kick it." Like, but no. And it took me like years till I was able to go back and go, that's fucking Nigel McGuinness. What?
I honestly, I don't have much more to say about the Horsemen because that is just a little too far back in history for me. But even now, like with my basic ass knowledge of wrestling, I understand their impact on how we view stables in wrestling today.
Well, I mean, not only that, like I said, it has such staying power, and each time it builds a star alongside with it. I mean, the old American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby, he needed a fall. He needed some bad guys he could take down. And the Four Horsemen were the ultimate foil to Dusty Rhodes. Because, of course, he is the son of a plumber. He is just a simple town man like all of us. And then you have the richest motherfuckers on the planet fighting him.
And then they were the perfect foil for Sting for years.
Yep, exactly. Same thing.
The
It's
man
just-
called Sting.
Like his-
You know what? Sting, honestly, he works best when he's got like 4 or 5 dudes just constantly beating his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
no, that's completely true because it's Four Horsemen, it's
NWO.
NWO,
Team Taz.
Immortal.
Main Event Mafia.
You know what? Sting has gotten his ass kicked by factions for a lot of his career.
D-Generation X in that one WrestleMania match.
Oh
We don't talk about that match. That match isn't real. Anyway, on to our next faction.
Sierra, Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta.
Shield.
Da-da, da-da, da-da.
Doesn't it feel good to sing that and not be talking about just Roman Reigns?
Yes, it does.
That faction was so good that they made it Roman Reigns' entire personality for 6 years.
It is a faction that was so good. It lasted for what?
A year.
3 years.
3 years?
Was it 3?
Yeah, it was.
3.
It was. It was a few years. Not more than 2, less than 5.
I mean, if you count the reboots, probably like 4.
Yeah.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But honestly, like compared to the rest of the factions we've talked about so far, very easily the shortest lived faction, but so impactful in wrestling.
There is no faction in existence that has held as many high championships.
No stable has ever broken up, and all 3 of them have, in the entire stable, has went on to win the major title, and most of them become Triple Crown champions, Grand
they all
Slam.
are.
Are they
They're
all?
They're all.
Yep. And you know what? Half the time they were fighting each other to do it. Like, they all
fact-
became main event guys.
In fact, there was one match where all three of them held the WWE Championship within 5 minutes.
Yep. Fuck, they're so good. The Shield,
And going back to our point about the Horsemen, they don't fit together. You had crazy deathmatch John Moxley. You had Ring of Honor technical specialist Tyler Black. And then you had a guy that they called Leaky. For a couple of months.
Who, his original gimmick in NXT was the Rolex wearing, like, hair tied back. He came to, like, do promos in a suit. I don't think he ever actually wrestled with that gimmick before he went to the Shield.
Yeah. And then he kind of took on this role as, like, the silent, brooding bodyguard type figure.
Destroyer. He was the destroyer.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is arguably
Gotta make Roman look strong.
It's the
years.
second best character Roman Reigns has ever had. Like, just being the silent guy who would beat the shit out of people.
And to be fair, the best version's less than a year old.
Yeah. There are not many factions that I could think about that you could legitimately tell me, oh yeah, those three guys, they beat the fucking shit out of the entire roster in one night backstage. They just went around wrecking everyone's shop. And I'm like, nah, that doesn't sound... It was the Shield. Oh.
I remember that. I remember Dean Ambrose staring Heath later in the eyes as Roman and
Seth just
Seth destroyed the other members of 3MB. That was a good time.
That was so fucking good. And they fucking they went all out for their entrances too. Like, I could say a lot of stuff about the E, but they put the work in for the Shield. Like, They
actually came in a helicopter. It wasn't even bullshit. They had an actual helicopter.
Those three popped out of the fucking helicopter.
I mean, it, like, I think John said this on his Oral Sessions interview, but they were kind of like a fucking boy band. They were like a full-on boy band of just like, they're fucking here! Yes!
I mean, they did the full-on crowd entrance, too. It was fucking like, they never as a team came down the ramp, I don't think, right?
Well, they did separately. It would usually be Dean and Seth down one, and then Roman down the other. Or if one of them were tagged, because I think Roman and Seth were the tag champs of that group. So
and Dean held the longest U.S. championship with the least number of defenses, kind of like in New Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, history repeats itself.
It really does.
And, like, rarely do you see a stable breakup that's fucking iconic. But it was like that, there's always plan B. Whap! And just that share shot heard around the world. And they cut it off at just the right moment. Because all of them were literally just sitting on the rocket launch pad, fire in their ass, about to explode and become the best thing to happen to wrestling in a very long time.
Because the night before, they had literally kicked the shit out of Evolution and basically broke Evolution up for good in the story.
Because Batista straight up quit the next night. Like, yeah, you know what? Fuck this, actually. Just keep getting beat by this two-toned hair motherfucker who's jumping off his shit at me.
I miss when Seth jumped off shit.
And then
we all do. From
that, we got the best shitty heel in a very long time in the form of Cackle Laugh Rollins. We got a phenomenal baby face for him to play off of with Ambrose. And Roman did some stuff too. Roman did some things during that too.
You just listen to the last 5 years of this podcast and you'll know what Roman did.
You'll know what... Well, I mean, like, that was the bizarre thing, was the fact that when you break up a 3-person stable, it's hard to keep a 3-person rivalry. So you had to have...
No one hated that about Roman. Everybody hated the fact that Roman Reigns never really left the Shield.
Oh, yeah.
He just still dressed like it. He still had the same music. he still
Was Roman.
Roman. All he did differently is that he like wanked off his wrist a lot more.
Yeah, exactly. Because the other two
remember
members,
when they broke up, just being so excited, like, what's their new like outfit gonna be? And of course, Seth became a Power Ranger. Ambrose just got a tank top and jeans, just like, I'm gonna kill everyone. And then Roman was just still the Shield. I'm like, has anyone told him? Roman, you know, right?
Roman, I need to sit you down, and you do know the Shield's broken up, Roman, please stop crying, Roman, please, Roman, you need to know this.
but I believe in like for maybe the rest of pro wrestling, it will be hard pressed for any stable to accomplish as much per wrestler like as high, because even now that Moxley's in AEW, like setting new heights and like there in New Japan and everything, because for the longest time he was kind of in the shadow, and now he's just like, nope, it was just Vince, I've been great the whole time,
Fucking right, you're just so right, and I fucking god damn it, because that, and you could see it in the Ambrose Rollins feud that went on for months right after the Shield's breakup. They didn't want,
before it had a really anticlimactic ending with the TV.
Exactly, that fucking TV. I'll never forgive whoever decided to do that TV spot into the Bray Wyatt feud, because I never got closure, man.
Nah. But speaking of,
well, there was that time that Dean did cash in and he won, and it was fine.
Yeah, the 5 minutes.
Yeah.
On to number 1 on our list.
0.5.
Well, I was gonna like lump them all in together.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about them separately, because I will justify why they're a separate entity.
Can we talk about the main thing, then separate entity?
Fine.
Because
I know more about both. I know more about both than you do.
Well, shocking the entire fucking world. No one could have ever seen this coming. Number 1 on our list of the greatest stable of all time.
That I think was all 3 of us chose as our number 1, correct?
I chose it as 2 because I thought the Horsemen were better, but it is Bullet Club for life.
I got a new man. I shot him.
There is something to be said about the previous entries in our top 5 that we've talked about, but because Bullet Club basically came into its own in a time where it was so much easier to jump from promotion to promotion and bring your guys in and say, oh no, we're still Bullet Club. Oh yeah, we're in Ring of Honor, Bullet Club. New Japan, Bullet Club. This is the home of the BC, baby.
Even before that, though, like when it was strictly just New Japan, you would still have guys like Gallows coming over and doing fucking WrestleMerica in Georgia, buddy. And at that point, there was no pro wrestling tees. There was nothing like that. So getting a Bullet Club shirt, like, I know everyone has one now, but in the early years, that was almost just like a sign of true fandom.
In fact, Tama Tonga went to Bullet Club Wrestlers Court because he sold bootlegs. That's why his career was stunted for the first 2 years of Bullet Club.
I respect the hustle.
But so with Bullet Club, the thing is that you can rightly talk about how they ripped off a lot of stuff from the others and that the others were more mainstream popular. But you understand, at the time when Bullet Club happened, which was about 2013, it was like the perfect place, the perfect time, because it was after the pipe bomb. So like smart wrestling was a thing. But like Bullet Club is what turned the eyes of a lot of Western wrestlers towards Japan. Because like before that, it was very difficult to find anything about it. Bullet Club is the reason why New Japan World exists.
Yes.
without a shadow of a doubt.
They're the reason that I got to watch Wrestle Kingdom live.
Yeah, they're like the popularity of that group from their initial like bit with Fergal and Carl and Bad Luck Fale and Tama to eventually where they got the iconic shirt and they brought over the Bucks and Gallows. And honestly, losing Fergal was the best thing that ever happened to them, which sounds horrifying because
you don't
like
the real
he's an
rock
amazing
and
wrestler.
You don't like that rock and roller?
The
baby?
real rock and roll. That was the best gimmick he's ever had. Like the Prince right now is good, but like as far as the Wrestle Kingdom where he came out of a coffin and just like better than any demon entrance. Like there's nothing. Like they just ooze. Every member just oozed coolness.
I mean, let me quickly
and then AJ.
Oh yeah. Let me quickly just, because we talked about like no group has ever had as many like world champions, big deal. Let me just run down a couple of the former members. Adam Cole, AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, Hangman Page, fucking Devitt. Like fucking, it's insane. Basically, they looked and said, who's good in indie wrestling? You're coming to the Bullet Club, son.
I think
and that was the thing is that they started. So the NWO was famous for bloating because they would grab all their friends. Except for the Bullet Club, they were just like all their friends were just really good.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, Adam, you can get here. Other Adam, sure. Gallows, Anderson, the Young Bucks. Okada said you're pretty good. We'll bring you over here. Kenny, we heard you can do some things. Yeah, this is working out. We
Who's that long hair fuck that was real good in TNA? Get him.
Do we have to keep Fale? We have to keep Fale? Okay.
That is a thing about like how expansive that Bullet Club has been, but they don't just keep collecting and collecting. People have broken off from Bullet Club to become their own thing or to go off and do their own career, like you mentioned, Devitt, of course. And they keep a rotation.
They're the most successful. They're the only faction that has ever had what can be referred to as eras.
Yeah.
Of it. And like that's absurd. Like you would like a lot of people would be like, well, they should have been a new. No, it's somehow there's enough continuity, especially because Fale and Tama Tonga have been there since the beginning. So like there's the old guard, they've been through it all, that it is like just like you could see it. There's the initial like the starting era with Fergal, Prince Devitt, and then you go on to AJ in like what is known as like possibly like a golden era.
That's the greatest era for me. Is the AJ
well,
era.
see, mine is the next, which is the Elite era, and then that split off into like maybe the most shaky bit before you got to Switchblade and his new era.
Yep.
Which is what we're currently living in. And listen, I don't care what you say. Like, scraggly beard, douchey Jay White is one of the top heel. Like, his era now stands on its own. You can put those four men up on.
Also, can I
on
just
Mount
say,
Rushmore.
they have like they of course have their smaller tag teams within them, which may have spawned some of the greatest team names of all time, which include Super Click, Adam, Matt, and Nick. The Hung Bucks of Hangman, Matt, and Nick. And then my personal favorite one I'm seeing right now, which is Hangman Page teaming with Yujiro as Dick and Ball.
Yep. But speaking of those tag teams, those actually weren't so much Bullet Club as...
God. It's begun.
It's begun, yeah.
Elite.
You could start a watch if you want. See how long I can talk about it.
Elite.
Elite.
And
okay,
before we get to it, Dylan, I want to say something real quick. I'm sorry.
You.
Because it's like this is the moment where the Bullet Club and the Elite split, where they were essentially like an amoeba tearing, where one became two. Because you had the OG Bullet Club and the Elite.
Well, not only that, like in
No, let the man go.
No, it's okay. I can talk. No, Dylan, you can go.
Okay. So, the Bullet Club changed like a lot of things. The NWO revolutionized wrestling. So when the Elite had the catchphrase "change the world," they did.
They
They did. Arguably, so like, listen, the NWO was really great. They got mainstream attention to it. Did they start their own fucking company?
Well, it was almost just like a rolling ball at some point, because I remember like the first big deal was you could get Bullet Club shirts at Hot Topic. And I went,
And you know who did that? Oh, that's right. The greatest tag team of the last decade, the Young Bucks.
Yeah. It started with that. And then it was, oh, this is the first non-main roster promotion to have Funko Pops made of them. And then they just kept doing shit. And then, oh, we're going to be the first people to sell out a 10,000 seat arena. And then it just kept rolling of, what the fuck can we do next?
And then, like,
it's like the career of... It's like the career of Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like, what are you going to do next, Arnold? I'm going to marry a Kennedy. There's no fucking way. And then they do it.
It's like, you see them having all of the success, and then after they sell out that 10,000 seat arena, Cody just says, all right, what's next? And then his phone rings. T-Con.
And then
Let's go. Yeah, so that's why I always consider the elite different, because one, Kenny wanted it to be, but they wouldn't let him. They didn't want to break up the Bullet Club, so like they ran concurrently for a long time. But like, you know, especially considering being the Elite, which also changed how we look at pro wrestling.
Yep.
And how like a lot of that's how all blogs now for wrestling now like basically copy them, and like it became a huge thing. They got a sponsorship from Cracker Barrel because they ate at Cracker Barrel enough that Cracker Barrel just sponsored them. Same with TGI Fridays, because they said it was their favorite Japanese restaurant. Like, you need to understand, the Elite have done so many things that should not have been possible as, like, quote-unquote indie wrestlers, as guys in, like, Ring of Honor, New Japan. And they did. And, like, that is why I consider them, like in their own thing. Maybe not as great as the Bullet Clubs, because the Bullet Club had to be great before they could break off, but like it's undeniable.
The Bullet
what
Club
they've done.
Walked so the Elite could run.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
and then like do a 450.
Yeah, I remember when AJ got kicked out, and I was like, oh, who's the next big leader? And they're like, oh, it's just Kenny. And I, at the time, didn't know a lot about Kenny, so I just said, okay, I guess this is it for Bullet Club. They lost AJ, and then Kenny looked at me and kicked me in the dick and said, no, we just getting started. But yeah, if going back to Bullet Club proper, when I look back at some of my favorite indie matches, it is AJ era Bullet Club. That fucking them murdering Matt Sydal that I talked about last week. But then when you look at some of the greatest matches of all time, it's Kenny era. Yeah, exactly.
Bullet Club.
Oh god, the King of Trios weekend where AJ botched the first night. He slipped on the ropes and then made
these damn lucha ropes.
He just made it into a running storyline because he knew people would be coming back. So when he finally hit that springboard, people were like, he did it.
I miss indie AJ Styles.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're getting back the heavyweight version of that era of Young Bucks, which is great.
Oh,
finally.
Can't wait for it. Yeah, apparently on Wiki they are referring to that as now just the North American version of Bullet Club. Carl, Doc, Young Bucks, and Kenny. And I think they just put like, I don't think the people in New Japan like that, though.
They don't. I assure you that Switchblade is not a fan.
Tama Tonga wants to kill them all. All right. I guess we should switch gears.
Hey, listen here, boys. Oh. It's for life.
It's
except for AJ Styles.
All right. Now, quickly, turning the table, we got some predictions to do for the first Impact pay-per-view that Dylan's probably ever going to buy.
I decided against it because I couldn't justify $40 for one match.
Well, actually, there's one on here. I'll read it now that I'm excited for, but I probably shouldn't be. It's Matt Cardona versus Brian Myers. We're finally getting Ryder versus Hawkins, but it's an Impact.
Oh.
Hawkins.
Okay. Blake.
Yeah, I don't know anything about what Impact's doing, so you know what?
Oh, same. This is great.
I'm gonna say Ryder.
I've got a Cardona as well. Trey Miguel versus Sammy Callahan.
Callahan.
I'll also say Callahan.
Yeah, I love Trey, but no. Ace Austin versus Josh Alexander versus TJP. Oh, wait a minute.
Ace Austin.
Aw, damn it. Ah, fuck, because of the rules. The rules mean I don't get to pick Ace Austin. Blake?
Ace Austin.
No.
Oh, you already
threat.
got it. Sorry, Dylan. Who are the other two? TJP. Sorry.
TJP. I will take Josh Alexander. That was actually my second choice over Ace. Deonna
Wait,
Purrazzo.
now hold on. I lost, so shouldn't I have gotten first pick?
Oh.
No, because we started off as a new thing, so it's yell who first come, first serve.
Wait, then by that logic, I get Ace.
No, because I yelled it first.
Fine,
I
you
already
could get
had
Ace.
it written. Fine. Okay. Deonna Purrazzo versus Tennille Dashwood.
Oh.
Deanna's been on such a fucking tear.
She has.
I can't not pick Deonna.
I want Tennille just because I feel like it would be a great crowning moment for her.
Yeah.
After like all the work she's put in for years.
She's doing something with Caleb Connolly right now. I don't know what that storyline is, but I don't know.
What do you say, Blake?
Fuck. I also want to go with Tennille, but I don't think I can on this one.
Yeah.
Same.
Finn fucking Finn Juice, baby! Finn Juice versus the Good Brothers for the Impact Tag Team
Good Brothers.
Championship.
Good brothers.
Yeah, I mean, my normal booking mind says not Good Brothers because they just lost the titles to Finn Juice, but the fact that we all know what's going to happen in the main event makes me say, oh yeah, no, they need as much gold in that locker room as they could possibly get. Then I just had to say Violent by Design versus Baby Faces, but I can read it out. It's Sabin Edwards, James Storm, and Willie Mack versus Eric Young, Diener, Joe Doring, and Rhino.
The first group.
Team, yes.
The Baby Faces?
The
Okay.
baby faces.
All right. Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering versus Fire and Flava, which is Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz for the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship.
I'll go Fire and Flavor.
Yeah, I'll go Fire and Flavor too.
Okay. We are getting very similar, and the way I know that is because my fucking Google document is telling me, do you want me just to fill all this out for you? Based off previous information. And then in the main event,
It's Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega. Yeah, it's Kenny Omega.
It was Kenny Omega the moment they made this match. The moment that Scott D'Amore said the words unification match, I was like, oh, cool, Kenny gets to be Impact champion. Then he gets to be the champion of 3 companies.
Wait a minute. Kenny Omega's always been winning? Always has been.
Kenny Omega always be winning. Lol, Kenny wins. All right, we did it. What did you boys learn this week?
I learned that a good theme song makes a faction.
I learned that the Elite and Bullet Club are apparently different stables.
I will come to Alabama and slap. Oh, no, wait. You're coming down here. Guess what's waiting for you? It's a backhand to the face.
I learned that I got an ass kicking in my future.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Yeah,
What are we? What
I
should we
learned
do?
that I get to watch a free ass kicking in my future.
Fuck. What should we do next week? I want to keep going down this world of stuff we love and stuff we just want to talk about.
I would say best matches, but then my list would just be 5 Kenny Omega matches, and that seems
I want to
boring.
wait. I think before Double or Nothing, we'll do the big matches. I want to call it the Pinnacle series, where we talk about the best of what match it is. So like the best Hell in a Cell match, the best triple threat, the best whatever, and do that. So best overall matches. Shit.
Do we just want to talk about what we like about pro wrestling at the moment?
How about
We
this?
just have a little love fest.
Next week, best personal moments in pro wrestling, whether that be at a live show or at an event. This is just about our own experience next week.
All right.
Tune in to hear my story about that time Velvet Sky fed me Oreos. But until then, where can people...
Or the time that you got the best friends kicked out of Global Force Wrestling.
All right, but that'll be happening next time. Until then, where can people find you on the internet?
You know,
You can't. I'm a mystery. I'm a ghost. I'm enigma.
Actually,
Some even call me the gangster of love.
as a matter of fact, Dylan is a figment of our imaginations, and you can't hear him right now. You can find me at Blake A. Tanner on Twitter. You can find me at the Darkroom Vidya on YouTube, and you can find me here on the BS Network.
And you can find me on Twitter at ScottyMo, ScottyYemo, and you can check out all my other podcasts, from the mini adventures of Sammy Magic to fun fiction, at aloadofpurebs.com. And of course, make sure to Join the Weird, my brand new actual play TTRPG podcast, at Join the Weird on Twitter, at patreon.com/jointheweird.
I didn't actually expect Dylan to leave after that, but it was fucking funny. Special thanks to Mega Ran for our theme song, Fighters. Go support Mega Ran. Go listen to his music anywhere that you can find fine music like his. What's Mega Ran been up to?
He's fucking hanging out. They've been doing weekly, not weekly, but regular live shows with him, MC Lars, MC Frontalot, and God, I'm upset. Oh, Schaefer the Dark Lord, who we actually hung out with in Tampa, I think. No, Daytona. He's a really cool guy. Check out the I believe the Four-Eyed Horseman is their name, which it fits the theme of this week's episode. And as always, you can find us at aloadofpurebs.com. Step up to the merch table at merch.aloadofpurebs.com. Find us on Facebook, donate to the Patreon, subscribe on YouTube, and remember to follow us on Twitter at Fight Boy Show, because when you're a fight boy, you're a fight boy for life.